Good morning and welcome to Soul Soup. I'm Dr. Janette Freeman, and I'm here to dish up a little food for your soul and warmth for your heart with some spiritual teachings and principles. And so settle in and bring all of your attention and awareness right here. Today, we are continuing a series on manifesting love. Manifesting love. Manifesting means physical, really. And so we are looking at manifesting love in our lives, all kinds of love in our life. Whatever it is for you, I encourage you to just focus on that. And so last week we talked about clearing the blocks to love. Last week we talked about clearing specifically the block of receiving through clearing our worthiness to receive and deservability to receive, knowing that we are enough. All those lower self programs that interfere with our ability to manifest from the higher self. So today we're going to go to the next step of this, and that is today is being in the energy of love. So in order to manifest in the outer, we must be it in the inner, right? In order to manifest in the outer, we have to be it in the inner, and that's the work that we do through these teachings and through these processes. So stay tuned. So today what we will do is do a process for you to more embody this beingness. So I want to talk a little bit about love. Love from the higher perspective and beingness. Our higher self, our I am presence is love. Your connection to your I am presence through adoration, contemplation, aligns you with its nature, which is love. Every time you say and contemplate your higher self, if you come from a religious perspective, every time you contemplate the divine, every time you contemplate and love the presence, you are activating and aligning with this, with its nature. I want to share a little bit before we do the meditation from some of the I Am Discourses writings. And this is well, I'll get to that in a minute. So, but it was written in the New Testament. Jesus says, I can do nothing except for this presence that lives within me. Jesus knew his I am presence. He knew his relationship with the divine. He knew his oneness with this presence. So not only did miracles abound, but his whole presence changed the world. And one of his greatest messages to us was, you too can do all these things that I have done. Of course, only if the presence within him, which is also known as the presence within us, because it's the presence that does the work. So the presence that it was in him is the presence. Now, many times I call that presence the I am presence, but it's a Christ consciousness. It's the divine consciousness, but it's the part of us that is a part of us. And we're waking up to know I'm not separate. It's not over there, but it's right here in me. I'm waking up to that. And every time I say, contemplate the words I am, I'm really activating my remembrance to remember the I am nature, the Christ nature, the divine nature is the nature that is in me. And I'm aligning with its nature. So, first of all, he was this beautiful example that's showing the way, lighting the way, the nose. Only it is through this presence that anything is done. Only it is through this presence that love is manifested in our life. Only through this presence. If we want a greater example of love, most of us, when we think of this, we think of relationships, of course. We want greater expressions of love in our life. Only through the presence, the higher self, is this possible for a greater, higher degree of relationship, which our soul desires. So one of the ways to begin to be this love is awaken to this presence through love and adoration. Through loving this adoring this presence. So there was a great story of Mother Teresa, and someone, a newspaper person, asked, how was it that she was so able to do so many things in her life, so many things? And she says, well, because I'm married to Jesus. And then she says, I so love Jesus, the Lord, the presence. I so love the presence that I love him so much that he can't do enough for me. And that's that kind of love that I'm talking about. It's loving the presence. However, whatever that is for you. Loving the presence. So from the discourses now on supply, it says there is only one thing that keeps mankind in lack or limitation of any kind. There is only one thing that shuts off supply, and that can be a supply of love, supply of money, supply of anything. That is a lack of love to the presence. In the fullness of the presence is the love that you require. In the fullness of the presence are the things you desire. From Supply, from volume 19. So in the fullness of the presence, in our alignment with the presence, we align with the beingness of love, and trying to just trick ourselves into being love it's not lasting. What I'm talking about is aligning and loving and practicing that adoration to the presence, adoration and love to the presence that can't just seeks to express its love through you, seeks to express, supply, and support, and manifest love in your life. From the I Am Discourses, page 116 in volume 3, it says, love is the first principle of life, and it may be generated to any degree or without any limit for infinite use. Such is the majestic privilege of the conscious use and direction of love. So, well, let me finish. When I say generate, I mean opening the door of love through conscious devotion to the outpouring of this exhaustless fountain of love, which is the heart of your being, the heart of the universe. Students, by contemplating this infinite power of love, become such a fountain of its outpouring that its conscious direction may be infinite in the student's use. In other words, this love that we want to be a generator of in our lives, in our outer world, and a magnet to receive it manifested back to us, we open that door through conscious devotion to the outpouring of this love, through the conscious devotion of your presence. So this next step in being a manifester is to turn into adoring and being grateful for and contemplating the presence and calling upon the presence and loving the presence. And through adoration of the presence, it is mirrored back from the presence adoration of everything in our life. And that produces such a holy vibration of love that you can be the love. So we're not trying to love things we don't love. We're putting our attention on loving the presence and then receiving the love of the presence. So let's prepare for a little short process where you can access that more deeply. So turn in and begin to connect to your breath. That's right. And just bring your full awareness and an attention to your nose. Taking a breath, turning away from everything else to bring your full awareness right into your center, right into your center line. Imagining this beautiful river of light coming from high above the head, connecting in the spine, moving down through the body to bring yourself into alignment with your line, with your I am line. Through the conscious breath of I on the in-breath, am on the out-breath. I am. I am. I am. That's right. With every conscious breath of I am, just bringing your awareness into your center. And I invite you to imagine that as you just put your awareness in this center line, and as you take a breath, and with your eyes closed, look up. Like as you breathe in, I look up and see this light over your head, this golden light. And then as you breathe, am, bring that light right down into your heart. So it's breathing in, looking up, seeing the light above your head, and then exhaling, am, and bringing that light right down into your heart. We're going to begin. This is a practice to bring energy into your heart, bringing light into your heart. So again, breathing in, I, looking up, sensing that beautiful golden light above your head, and then breathing out, am, and bringing your awareness, just bringing that light right down into your heart and filling up the heart cavity with so much light. And begin to find your own rhythm as I'm talking. Breathing in, I, looking up, seeing that light, and breathing out, am, and bringing all of that light right down into your heart area, filling that heart with so much light. Breathing up, looking up, and breathing down, am, and bringing it into your heart. Breathing up, I, sensing that light above your head and bringing that light down. And looking up with your eyes closed into that light, breathing up and then down. Begins to feel and get a sense of bringing that energy into your heart that coming from that light above your head. And feeling the light and the presence in your heart expand. And doing that a few more times to just move into that beautiful rhythm, that beautiful light, looking up, and then bringing it all down into your body, into your heart area. Breathing up and filling up your heart with this light. And filling your heart, and continue to do that as I'm sharing and talking. And imagining that your own presence and offering love to the presence. And imagining this presence as so much light. And as you're just doing this breath, feeling into the heart space, feeling the light, filling your heart. With every breath, loving the light, loving the presence right there in your heart. Connecting to the beingness that you are, the presence. Loving, adoring the presence. That's right. And filling that heart with so much love. Gazing upward to the light and exhaling and bringing that light right down into your heart and filling so much of this love right in your heart. That's right. And then communing and talking to that presence and just sharing and loving that presence and saying and asking, what is the, I love this presence. I want to be more of the loving presence that is there for me. I am choosing this. And from this place, simply asking, what does the presence want? How does the presence want to express more love in my life? And just asking without needing an answer right now, just what does love want? What does love want? Knowing that your presence is another name for love. What does love want? What does love want? With every breath, just staying connected to your heart. Staying connected to the adoration of the presence. Staying surrendered to knowing, what does love want? What does the presence want? I am here allowing the presence to live. My deepest desire is just to feel and to experience the love of the presence. And then again, just breathing, disconnecting from the busy mind. And taking a breath in, I on the in-breath, and gazing upward into the light, I, and then bringing all of that light right down into your heart, right down into your heart. I am being this presence. I am being this love. This presence is dwelling right here in my heart. I am being this presence of love. That's right. And this one little breath exercise of saying I and looking upward, I, and connecting to the light of the presence above your head, and then breathing down, am, and bringing that light right down into your heart. And a few simple I am breaths of bringing the love of the presence down into your heart can help to activate the presence love. And then uttering some words of adoration and love and devotion to the presence that is right there in your very own heart. Asking the presence, what does the presence want? What does love want? What does the presence want? I am surrendered. I love the presence so much. I only want to love the presence. I'm feeling and experiencing and receiving the love of the presence. I am that presence. I'm unifying with that presence. That presence is love. I'm feeling and sensing in my very heart right this moment, I am love. The presence is love. I am loving the presence. The presence is loving me. There is only one thing happening. It is love. And this week, as you go through this week, doing this breath and opening and expanding the heart and loving the presence. The presence is living this life. This presence is manifesting love. This presence is loving the person in front of me. This presence is loving my work. This presence is loving my bills. This presence is loving this experience. This presence is serving. This presence is singing. This presence is speaking. This presence is love, and it is doing what is being done this moment. I am being the love that I am. To manifest greater love, I must open my heart and tap into the love, the presence, the beingness that is right there. The simple breath exercise of taking a breath in, and looking up to the light, and bringing the light right down into the heart. And begin to activate the love in your heart. And I invite you to do that many times this week, and then focus on being love. Just being love, loving the presence, being love through you. And that's enough. That's enough this week, to being the love, to being in the energy of love, to being the energy of love right here, right now, today, this week. I'm not trying to get love from someone else. I'm not trying to get approval from someone else. I'm not trying to get something from someone else. I am learning to be the energy of love and taking that desire into my work, into my relationships, into my experiences. I am being the love. I am being love. I am the being of love. I access that through my own presence. My own presence is my source of love today and forevermore. And the more I know that, the more I have the promise to live my life in love. I am in love with the presence. And because I am so in love with the presence cannot help but to be in love with me and to do so much for me. And I'm so grateful because everything I have comes from the presence. Everything I do comes from the presence. Everything that comes to me comes from the presence doing it. I am that I am. I am that I am. I am that love. I am that love. I love what the presence is doing for me now. That's right. Just breathing that in, bringing awareness right back here as we prepare to end this session on being the love, being the energy of love. So practice that, my friends, this week, being love. Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's Soul Soup. Whether you watched on the webinar or listened on the podcast or watching later on YouTube, thank you so much for tuning in. This is brought to you by Oneness Online, which is a nonprofit spiritual organization providing teachings on the I Am source code, providing spiritual teachings, committed to helping you wake up to your own I Am nature, your divine nature, and live more empowered lives from that presence. So thank you so much for your donations. If you've been served or blessed by any of these teachings, we really appreciate your donations, which make it possible. So thank you so much. And if there's anything I can do for you personally, I do personal coaching and counseling, and it's affordable. And one session can help shift you in ways where you might be up against that. So feel free to contact me. I'd love to support you in that. Thank you again for being with me today. Many blessings, and have a wonderful week of being the love that you are. Thank you so much. Cheers.